I think law.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Law. Come. Take your chair, please.
Thank you, sir.
Moksh Dilip Ranawat.
Yes, sir.
The name sounds more from Rajasthan, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You originally from Rajasthan?
Sir, my parents are from Rajasthan, sir.
Okay.
My origins are in Rajasthan.
Okay. But how come you are in Mumbai now?
Sir, actually, my parents shifted to Bombay when I was around in 8th standard.
And then Basco?
So I was actually born and brought up in Goa.
Okay.
So I've spent my entire childhood in Goa till 8th standard.
Okay. So just give us a brief introduction about yourself.
So I am a lawyer by graduation. I've completed my law school from Symbiosis Law School, Pune, post which I have been preparing for civil services. My hobbies include I'm avidly interested in the stock markets and I love reading short stories.
Yes. Now, Moksh, I recall you have done one more, no, 2-3 days back or last week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember having seen you. So, you recall anything? No, you have forgotten. You are doing many mocks or what? What number is this? This mock?
So this would be my third mock.
Third one. Okay, when is your interview?
Sir, 31st of January.
Oh, so you have roughly half a month, 20 days.
Yes, sir.
Now you have very avid interest in stock market.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the difference between BSc and NYSC.
So BSc and NYSC.
NYSC.
So BSc stands for the Bombay Stock Exchange.
Dalal Street and Wall Street.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the basic difference between the two?
So at a broader level, the Bombay Stock Exchange represents the Indian stock markets. The NYSE is the New York Stock Exchange.
Okay.
When it comes to market capitalization, the Bombay stock market, in terms of Indian stock market, is a $5 trillion market capitalization. The New York Stock Exchange is one of the largest exchanges in the world, and it represents the US economy, which is a $55 trillion market capitalization.
Okay, that is fully covered in NYSC?
Sir,
US economy?
Sir, I think New York Stock Exchange is one of the major stock exchanges, and it is one where majority of the stocks are traded. So it
Okay,
represents a
tell me
significant
about
share.
insider this information. Now, what is the provision of law in India and in the US?
Sir, to throw light on the Indian insider trading regulations, they are regulations put in place to prevent the sharing of unpublished price-sensitive information, which can be used in order to rig stocks or create positions which are known to some people who are privy to sensitive information. The insider trading
By
regulations,
law, it is not permitted in India or in the US.
so insider trading is not allowed in both US as well as India.
As well as India. Okay. But there have been instances in the US, no, of meltdown because of insider trading or some information exchange. 2008 was the most recent one, or after that there has not been.
So the 2008 time was the time of the financial crisis in US, the subprime mortgage crisis. In
Yeah.
terms of insider trading, sir, the last case I can recall is that of Mr. Rajat Gupta.
Rajat Gupta, when was that?
Sir, I'm not aware of the time, sir, but I'm aware of the case.
Yeah, no, there was a time when these Goldman Sachs, Salman Brothers, they all indulged in, like one country was fully made bankrupt with the advice of Goldman Sachs, perhaps, that Greece, you know the incidents, they were advised to make some investment, and this was a wrong advice.
Sir, I'm not aware of this matter.
You are not aware. Okay. But the connection between mortgage, housing, and investment. Also, there was some inside, like government policy itself faltered on that. And many people had to suffer heavily. At their cost, the investment bankers made huge profit. You know of the story? Our own Raghuram Rajan was that time in IFC, and he had given, like, there was a documentary I had seen, Inside Job, I wonder if you have seen that.
Yes, sir, I've seen the movie.
Okay. Is my time over, or I can ask one more question? Over. All right, yeah, because thank you. So I wanted to ask one on law, but then that is fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Moksh.
Good afternoon.
What is
sir.
meaning of your name?
Sir, Moksh means liberation. It is freedom from the cycle of birth and death, sir.
So, what are you doing to prove your name correct?
Sir, I am ensuring that I can come above my basic desires. I can climb the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and one day reach transcendence, which is moksha, sir.
Okay. Your parents were originally from Pali.
Yes, sir.
What is Pali known for?
So Pali is very well known for henna mehendi. It is a one product of Pali.
Pali. Can you visualize any problem in Pali district? Have
Sir-
you visited Pali? Earlier?
No, sir, I haven't visited Pali since childhood when I was very small.
Okay. So read about problems of Pali and
Sure, sir.
now in law, in jurisprudence, I suppose there was an axiom that let thousands of perpetrators get scot-free, but not even single innocent person should be punished.
Yes, sir.
Is it proving true in Indian perspective?
Yes, sir. I believe it has been proven true because our criminal procedure codes have a lot of safeguards to ensure there is a fair process given. There is natural justice principles which are upheld. So we have made sure that innocents are not punished.
Recently, in yesterday's newspaper, you must have read, or in today's newspaper, that a high court postponed hearing 16 times in last 8 years for a person who was jailed, and Supreme Court came down heavily upon High Court that this is not done. So what does it show? I mean, people are languishing in jail for 20 years without being finally given a judgment.
Sir, I think the problem of justice being delayed is one which keeps cropping up in our system. It's a timely piece in the newspaper, it keeps coming. But we must understand that the delay occurs because of several reasons, some of which are the safeguards themselves. Here, there was a adjournment given 16 times, if I'm correct. So that adjournment was given each and every time because there was a certain reason attached to it. The High Court in its wisdom must have found that there's certain evidence which requires time or a charge sheet which is supposed to be filed. And this entire process taking time is what has delayed the justice.
So, I mean, end result is very disheartening, isn't it?
It is, sir. It is disheartening that justice gets delayed and it feels like justice is therefore denied.
Justice delayed, justice denied. Though on the other hand, they say justice hurried is justice buried.
Yes, sir.
Now, you have attempted 3 times,
Yes, sir.
isn't that? And how many marks did you receive last time in the written?
Sir, I was unable to clear the mains examination. I missed the cutoff by 3 marks.
Oh,
Very sad.
sorry. This time I hope that it will be quite
Thank you, sir.
other way around. Now, can you tell me what is Udta Punjab?
Sir, what I can recollect from Udta Punjab is the song and the movie which had Shahid Kapoor and Miss Alia Bhatt in
What
it.
was the theme of the movie?
Drugs, sir. The drug abuse problem in Punjab, sir.
Is that not very pertinent problem in Goa?
So drugs is an issue in Goa. It
And
is.
what is the other problem in Goa?
So currently the other problem of Goa is there is a problem of prostitution as well, which is there in Goa.
Over-exploitation
Yes, sir. These
of
are
tourism.
Sir,
You
overdevelopment.
see Russians and Israelis and whatnot. So what is, I mean, suppose you are in IAS and you become deputy commissioner of one of the your jurisdictions in Goa. How would you tackle this problem?
Sir, I think Goa has a strong tourism economy and we must balance tourism with sustainable tourism. what has happened is overdevelopment in Goa has led to locals having resentment because it's their natural property which has been affected. So I think sustainable tourism must be there. We must also develop northern Goa, especially in parts which are towards the Mollem National Park, sir. So such development will make sure that there is a all-round development, and problems like drugs and prostitution must be should be tackled with law enforcement, sir, so that such activities are not allowed to get perpetrated.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was all from me.
Good afternoon, Moksh.
Good afternoon, sir.
Law, your background in law is of great interest in international relations. Straight question: should Sheikh Hasina be extradited from India at the request of the Bangladesh side?
Sir, I think that the government in Bangladesh is still an interim government, and till we do not have a established government there, under international law, we can only provide extradition or when there is a bilateral treaty involved.
There is a treaty between India and Bangladesh.
Yes, sir, but we have not given DG or recognition to the government of Bangladesh currently. The current government is currently in transit, so I think the right answer to the question would be we must wait and watch. We should see how the situation progresses.
And if there is elections and a new government comes or the same government comes, let's say BNP comes to power. You know BNP, right? Khalida Zia's party. Then if they make the same request, should we send back Sheikh Hasina?
Sir, I think when the problem arises, we'll have a better understanding of the situation. And here, right now, we have given asylum to Ms. Sheikh Hasina as a part of our territorial sovereignty. The fact that we give her back would be an exercise against asylum law, because under this law, when we end up giving somebody asylum, we cannot give back political prisoners. They are an exception to the extradition clause, even in the bilateral treaty. So we must take our steps very wisely, because Bangladesh is an important partner in the neighborhood, but at the same time we have some obligations internationally.
Laws have a context also, right? International law. Can they be implemented without a context? You have yourself said if they face persecution of a kind, death sentence, for instance, can you ordinarily send them back?
No, sir.
Right? Yeah. Okay, and there is another question I asked you in context of international relations. Arbitration and mediation, how would you distinguish the two?
Sir, arbitration is an adjudicatory alternative dispute mechanism where parties appoint an arbitrator who gives an arbitral award. Mediation is a more facilitative mode of alternative dispute resolution,
Right.
where parties allow the mediator to improve the flow of communication between them so that they can reach a settlement term.
Right. Now, let's take Russia-Ukraine conflict. Right, it's going on since 22. So, do they need some kind of assistance in coming to an understanding, the war to come to an end? Is there some kind of mediation which is necessary? What is your opinion?
Sir, I think we can offer our good offices for mediation to Russia and Ukraine. India being a rising power and a good ally of Russia, as well as having a strong footprint in terms of relationship with Ukraine, we can of course offer our mediative services, but it would be upon the states if they wish to accept it or not, because mediation is a facilitative process.
Right. And if states offer their mediation services to settle India-Pakistan issues, what would you say to that?
Sir, the current position of India is one where we do not want anyone to engage in mediation, because we think it's a matter of our internal sovereignty, and there is nothing much to settle because there is a bilateral dialogue which is ongoing, and there has been no communication or no updates on part of Pakistan in terms of agreeing to a amiable solution to many problems which we have.
Are mediators in international relations, can they be neutral?
Sir, I think that is a prime requisite of them being neutral. Otherwise, parties would not agree to their mediation.
Right. Thank you.
Moksh, you have listed the stock market analysis as one of your interests.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you the difference between Sensex and Nifty.
So next, Sensex is an index of the Bombay Stock Exchange, whereas Nifty is an index of National Stock Exchange. Nifty has the market capitalization of the top 50 companies of India, whereas Sensex has 30 companies index. Would you like me to elaborate further?
No, in fact, let me ask you about the regulatory body that controls all this. Which is that?
Securities and Exchange Board of India. Sir.
Security Exchange Board. There have been recent controversies. What are they?
So there has been a controversy with regard to the SEBI chairman having a vested position with another company listed on the stock market. But those concerns have been assuaged because there was a statement issued by the chairman herself that these are all false statements. There has also been the Adani Hindenburg issue lately, where Hindenburg had stated that the Adani Enterprises has engaged in unscrupulous activities and round tripping of money in order to shoot up their stock prices. But this report was denied by Adani Enterprises, and a SIT probe on this matter is currently to be undertaken. The matter is sub judice in the Supreme Court.
All right. What in the context of stock markets and stock valuation is the PE ratio?
So the PE ratio or the price to equity ratio is one used to understand whether a company is overvalued or undervalued. It is a sectoral metric. For instance, the PE ratio of the steel industry would be somewhere around 21, whereas in IT it would be 65. So this basically shows that 65 is a fair valuation ratio. Now, above or below it, you can make an assessment of the stock.
So what is the standard PE ratio that people prefer? The threshold beyond which they typically assume that it's overvalued?
Sir, this is a sectoral question. To illustrate, Infosys right now would be at 90, whereas a normal IT stock would somewhere be around 65. That shows Infosys is overvalued. But let's say if there is Cognizant or Mindtree and they are quoting at 40, so that means they are undervalued.
Okay. Speaking of valuations, what is an IPO?
So an IPO is an initial public offering. It is when the company offers its shares in the primary market for the first time to investors.
Okay. Let me ask you something about a different domain now. Technology, particularly biotechnology. Very, very powerful technology has come, that exists now, and it can do gene editing. Can you name the technology?
So CRISPR-Cas9?
CRISPR-Cas9. What exactly does it do?
Sir, it is involved in changing the genome sequence. Cas9 is a molecule which is used for, it's called molecular scissors. It is a protein which identifies and allows for slicing of the particular gene and replacing it with another genetic variant.
Okay, last question. In the Green Revolution, we have had the benefit of genetic modification and we have benefited from it greatly. Should this technology be used, and right now it is regulated, what challenges or what issues do you foresee, particularly for India?
Sir, I think that whenever there is a genetic editing which has taken place, then in such situation, the crop, we do not know what the long-term repercussions of such editing can be. So field study must be conducted. It might be a good alternative to assist in developing crops which can provide higher yield, considering our food requirements will increase in the future. But at the same time, we must be very cautious and conduct field studies.
Okay, is there something to do with the germline that if it gets affected, it changes everything? And can you elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. I can elaborate by an illustration, sir. The BT cotton, which is grown in Maharashtra, was created to tackle the pink bollworm issue. But now the pink bollworm has evolved in such a manner that BT cotton is no more effective. So we need to now again develop a new gene-edited crop. So this is the problem of gene editing, that it also affects the reliant pests and animals.
Thank you, Moksh.
Welcome, sir.
You have interest in arbitration and civil fraud.
Yes, sir.
You do. Tell me whether arbitration laws can be applied in family situations, family laws.
No, sir, they cannot be applied.
Why?
So matrimonial disputes are one which are related to the institution of marriage.
I didn't talk about matrimonial alone. I said all the family laws, whether it is inheritance, whether it is... Yeah.
So these laws are governed by personal laws. And personal laws are not arbitrable according to the Act itself.
Okay. You come from Goa, you have good idea about it. And there is talk about tourism reducing in Goa. What do you think can be done now?
Sir-
Most of the people are depending on tourism there.
Sir, I think tourism in Goa has reduced a little bit this year, but overall this is not a continuous phenomena. The reasons for reduction can be also international. Major tourists which come to Goa are Russians and Israelis. Now we can see that both these locations are seeing wars, so it has hurt the tourism. Second thing, sir, Goa has increased its capacities multifold, considering it's been a tourism hotspot. So now there are more hotels, more accommodations available. That is why the amount of influx which is coming seems lesser. But if we compare it on a historical scale, Goa is doing very well. Lastly, sir, we need to increase the affordability in Goa. End of the day, if we take a flight to get today from Delhi to Goa, it will cost us 7,000. A same ticket to Thailand would cost 9,000. So this ends up showing that travel to Goa is expensive. Within Goa, the taxi is very expensive. So these are problems which are making tourists choose alternative destinations.
Are we in the proper track in Goa tourism? Because you have lots of archaeological sites in Goa. There are lots of forest areas. Only we are marketing perhaps seashore tourism, isn't it? So is there any possibility of diversifying our tourism priorities?
Definitely, sir.
Like,
I think, sir, we can promote religious tourism also in Goa, which would add another feather to its cap. We have the Mangweshi temple in Goa. We have the Mollem National Park and Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary in Goa. We have Damodar Mandir in Goa. These are very...
which all forts you have visited?
Sir, I've been to the Diwar fort once, but I was very little back then.
Okay.
There is also an Aguada fort in Goa, but I have not visited that, sir.
Okay. Tell me, you are a lawyer. In the entire career of a lawyer, once you pass law and you get a bar council license, you don't compete anywhere. Then you are picked up by somebody. Is that a good system? Like you want to become a senior lawyer tomorrow, senior advocate. So somebody has to favor you. You don't go by objective merit. Like if a peon has to be promoted in government, then also he has to pass through some test, But a lawyer becomes a senior lawyer. A person becomes a high court judge or Supreme Court judge without any examination. How fair is that?
Sir, I look at it a little differently. I think a lawyer's life is one of struggle as well as one where he has to prove his mettle to gain favor. For instance, a senior advocate is given a designation of senior advocate once he has argued for years in court and has shown that he has impeccable skills to argue a case. Even as a lawyer, as a first generation lawyer myself, if I enter the industry tomorrow, I might find a job. But to keep the job, I'll have to keep proving myself. Again, a lawyer's job is one of a social engineer. So we must make sure our cases are also aligned with the people around us. Our study has to be spot on. For instance, even judges sit till 12, 1 o'clock at night every day in order to make sure that they are ready for the cases which are being heard the very next day. So it is a profession of high integrity as well as hard work. So
You didn't get my question right, maybe. I'm not saying the judges or lawyers are doing hard work. But at the same time, what I'm saying, when somebody is appointed as a High Court judge or Supreme Court judge, whether the selection process is transparent, one, whether objective criteria are taken into consideration. Similarly, while designating a person as a senior advocate, a person, there will be 100 other people who will be working that much, So when you pick up X and not Y and Z, there is no objective criteria for that. That is where I'm asking you a question. Not that I'm doubting their competence.
I agree with you, sir, that there have been concerns of transparency and nepotism in appointments to the judiciary. For the first question which was raised, I think that the system needs more transparency. I completely agree. In this regard, especially the higher judiciary follows the collegium system, and we are due for a reform to the collegium system itself. I completely agree with it because it's the only system in the world where judges appoint judges.
Okay. That's all from us. How was your interview?
Sir, I think I did fairly well.
Good.
Yeah, Moksh. Yeah, you have done fairly well. You have good competence and you are confident, like depth of knowledge. But there could be some issues where you may get lost, social issues and all, which are now impacting Indian society. So you should also, when is your interview?
31st of January, sir.
So that is fine. So get abreast of those. Otherwise, it is good. Very impressive. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Moksh, you have done very good, very well. You have proven yourself. But a few things I would like to suggest. One is your eye contact. Surprisingly, I find that your eye contact was better at the last of your interview than when you entered. Whenever you are asked a question, 70% of your eye should be focused. 70% of the time you should focus your eye on the person who is asking. Rest, have a glance, periodic glance to or others. Secondly, don't be stiff. Be normal. Use your hands if you need to, like I am doing or like you do when you talk to your friends. Because otherwise your half of your time will be spent on ensuring that you should keep your hands tight. One thing which I would seriously suggest to you, because you are a student, you have been a student of law, and a lawyer has to speak a lawyer has to be very cautious, very careful with his words. You said, and I noticed, the chairman of SEBI. Who is in the chair?
Chairwoman, sir.
Chairperson. So take care of all these. But in order, but it is not good that you should immediately start telling the answer and giving the answer. You know the thing. When the question comes to you, you can take safely 3-4 seconds, 5 seconds, or even if you want 10 seconds with permission of the board to articulate your answer and then start, right? All the best.
But there are always contexts, and the bigger players, they have their own versions and their own take on judgments also, like China on UNCLOS, for instance, China, Philippines. They will not implement certain kinds of international decisions or judgments. Then ICC judgment on President Putin, right? Is it something that all countries should they implement it? Or what about Netanyahu? Why the difference between the two, right? So international law is not straightforward because it depends which country is in the picture, right?
Yes, sir.
But other excellent, I would say.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Moksh, no particular inputs, frankly. It was all very well done. You did equally well, I think, in the opinion-based and the fact-based questions. I would say just keep everything the same, keep polishing it. Just go for depth and also a number of experience. Keep orating, keep verbalizing your thoughts, and this will only improve. You'll do very well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think you've done very well. I think you don't have to change your approach or attitude, whatever way you're doing. But the only thing is about Goa, about Maharashtra situation, and maybe about the new laws and reform in the judicial system. You got to be like, not that you don't know about it, but you got to reformulate your responses in such a way that it looks more logical, because you should not be confusing while giving an answer on these issues, because these are known facts. But at the same time, lots of debates going on. But what you got to support always is, like, if Supreme Court is saying something or the government is saying something, the logic only you pick up.
Yes.
Then only make your opinion. Like, say, you didn't say anything about senior advocate designation. Delhi High Court designated few people now, and there is a hue and cry. There is a petition in the Supreme Court now that this was all nepotism. So everybody is talking about that. So if your response could be more logical, I think more the better. Otherwise, you have performed very well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.